pursuant to MGL 30A 20F, after notifying the chair of the public body, any person may record or transmit this open meeting. This hybrid meeting is being recorded by the town of Stockbridge. The names of members participating remotely will be announced. Any member of the public wishing to speak must first receive permission from the chair. The agenda items listed are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, but not all may be discussed, and other topics not listed may be brought up for discussion by the public body as permitted by law.
Yeah, we didn't get rid of the,
Have to read it again?
no.
Oh. What's wrong,
Once
Sal?
the meeting is started, press participants, press more. Disable participants to start video. So, I don't know, we have video.
We have video?
We're not
No,
supposed to.
that'll just prevent anybody from joining from this point forward from turning on their video.
Okay,
Well-
all right.
Sally Louie just got on.
That's all right.
Louis Foreman.
Who?
You just can't be on video.
No, I think it's open.
No, I got Louis on.
No. Louis, where are you? Oh, there.
He's
He
there.
just stepped out for a second.
Oh, lower left.
There he
He's
is.
back.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Oh,
First of all, welcome. Oh, wait, do we have to announce?
The people who are on Zoom have to announce, the members on Zoom have to announce themselves.
Please, all members on Zoom, please announce yourselves.
Lori Richmond.
Bill Cedar.
You're muted, Louis.
Louie, you're muted.
Louis Corman is here.
Louis Corman.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't have my microphone down.
Yeah, everybody.
All right, well,
That's nice.
we don't have to say who we are.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Peter Williams.
Well, first of all, thank you all for attending the Stockbridge Bowl Stewardship Committee. Today's December 11th, 2025. And I want to start off by accepting the minute. Did everybody get the minutes that Don sent? I think you sent it yesterday or the day before.
A couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can
I got it.
You got it? Can I have a motion? Does anybody have any changes or any issues that they'd like to bring up? Do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Can I have a second or however?
A second.
And,
Got it.
and a vote.
Hi, Sally.
I'm Michael.
Hi, Gary. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi,
Hi,
Don.
Lori.
Hi, Louis.
All right, the minutes have been accepted. I'm going to go a little bit out of order because we have the honor of having Michael Canal. Michael, thank you so much for showing up. I really appreciate it. There are a couple of things that I know most people know about, like the what's going on with the restoration, but they also probably, if you can give us an update in the synopsis of what's going on with the dam restoration also, and anything else you wish to mention to us. Do you want to start the conversation, Michael?
Yeah, let me give you a quick update first on the because it's the simplest one would be the dredging of what's happening. So they are in the phase 2 of the archaeological assessment. The vegetated wetlands, the phase 1 archaeological assessment have been completed, and the Bullard Wood test pits have all been completed, and everything's moved along successfully. I'm not sure exactly when. It depends on whether they're able to keep doing the work up there. When we'll get the report, it could be early spring. But the last phase is this phase 2 assessment. If it's clear, then Bullard Woods we would be able to progress with that as the location for the material for the dredging project. So in the end, we're a few months behind the original schedule that I had proposed, but we're not substantially off. So that's where we stand as far as the dredging, and then we'll move on from there. Wanted to give you an update on the Stockbridge Bowl. So we have contracted with a company, T Ford Company, who is familiar with doing dam work. We have submitted our diagrams and our proposals for what needs to be done to DCR, and their dam inspection unit has looked at those emergency repairs, and they are in agreement with them. So we'll be proceeding with the emergency repairs. We will be mobilizing. They'll be mobilizing this Friday, hopefully, and the work is going to commence between the week of the 15th. So the next week. So the emergency repairs have to be completed by December 25th, 2025. After that, once we are in place and that work has been done, which are slope reconstruction, heavy duty textile that'll be placed over the area to anchor it, some bedding and stoning and riprap. Then we will proceed with the long-term repairs that will need to be done with the dam. But this will take care of the emergency situation that has happened. We will be moving on after the immediate repairs to a hydrology study and a seepage study of the dam to make sure that there is no hydrological impacts or seepage that's happening from the dam itself. Once that's determined, that would then line up our long-term plans as far as what we need to do. We are going to be bringing the dam into compliance with all the dam regulations. We've been operating since 2010 more on historical, where the dam hasn't gotten any worse, but it hasn't gotten any better, and it's been a monitoring. We did switch engineers looking at it, and they took a more proactive approach to say that we need to address the concerns that are out there as far as coming into compliance, such as from the toe of the dam, anywhere around the dam, we are supposed to maintain 20 feet of clearage. There's supposed to be no trees, no brush or anything. That's been true for the last couple of decades as far as the responsibility. So for over 20 years. If you go up there and take a look, we have sizable trees that are in this area. So the toe of the dam is the outer edge of the dam away from the water. At the bottom of it is supposed to be clear 20 feet back. And the reason why they do that is they want to make sure that all you have is grass in that area. Because if you have brush and trees, then burrowing animals will feel safe and they could potentially create burrowing dens in the side of the dam. So you want to be able to clear that area because they're less likely to make burrows when it's open like that because they're in danger of being taken by birds and other things. But this removal will include removal of tree brush. The brush will be handled by a highway department. We'll have to bring in contractors because we have some large trees in that area. Once you remove the trees, you also have to remove the stumps, and then you have to backfill in with dense material to make sure that you don't have any damages. The other reason why you don't want trees that close to the dam is if you had a tree come down, a healthy tree during a windstorm, something that uproots a tree, which is can be dangerous also. So we'll be looking at that and doing that. Estimated work was $290,000 to do the tree work along the dam. So, but we won't be doing any other repairs other than the emergency repairs until we do the hydrology study and the seepage study.
Mike, a question for you. What is the duration of the drawdown in reference to all of the things you just laid out?
So we don't have a time period of when we'll be authorized to close the pipe and then allow the water to refill. Once the emergency repairs are done, the dam will be in condition to be able to take water again. So my anticipation is similar to drawdowns in the past. The refilling would happen in the spring with the runoff.
Michael, first of all, thank you. I have a question. Is this do you feel it'll be a permanent fix by the end of December, or is this just something
No, this
to,
is, so under Massachusetts law, when you have an emergency situation, you're only able to remedy the emergency and do the emergency work. The emergency work will be sufficient to protect the dam, but then we have to do these studies and then make sure what needs to be done for permanent repairs.
so this may happen again, the drawdown
Yeah,
in the future, or not,
Yes.
or it could, what you're
it
saying.
could. It
Okay.
could.
Yeah.
Michael, how does this get reviewed by DEP? Because all of these things that they're proposing to do for the dam are like totally against what we would normally permit.
So we have an emergency certificate from DEP to do the work, and the work is reviewed by the DCR for the dam compliance. And it's only the emergency work within that small area where we had the failure right along the wing wall that's going to be done. So we are limited to only to making an emergency repair that is sufficient to protect the dam's integrity. Other than that, that's why we can't make any other repairs. I know somebody brought up about even doing some riprap work up at the boat ramp. No, we cannot do anything other than the emergency repairs. Both DEP and DCR are familiar with what is happening, and since it's all around the integrity of the dam, that trumps everything for now for the emergency, but will not for anything going forward. All the rest will have to be fully permitted, done through conservation, NHPZ, DEP, DCR, everybody involved.
Yeah, I mean, we signed the emergency certification, so we know that gives you 30 days to remedy the emergency. But the other work, like removing the trees and removing the stumps and the trees will no longer shade will no longer shade the area, which will change the temperature, and the stumps, once they're taken out, will compromise the bank. There are so many things about this that make me really nervous.
Well, it won't compromise the bank at all.
If you take out the stumps?
Yeah, no, it'll actually strengthen you're going to have to put in other material in order to do that. Dams are required to have a 20-foot clearance from the toe of the dam, period. It's a safety issue that can lead to the compromise of a dam. So we're going to have to figure out how to do that, but that is all down the road and will have to be fully permitted by all parties. The only thing that's happened in the immediacy is the slope repair, installation of a heavy textile over the top of it, bedding stone, and riprap replacement. What I was referring to as the trees is some things that have been identified that we're going to have to take care of down the road, but those will be fully permitted. That will not be happening in the 30-day emergency permit.
What
I
happens?
apologize if I made that.
What happens with the refill, though? You were talking about spring. Will it not be allowed to refill naturally once the emergency is over?
Once all the work's done and DCR tells us that we can then close the gate, we'll close the gate again. But I'm still anticipating that with runoff and, it's going to take a long time to restore the level of the water. And this time of the year with freezing conditions and everything else, it's probably not going to come back until the spring. But it could be sooner.
Okay, so it could if the conditions are right.
Yes.
Okay.
Obviously, the issue with an emergency is that it is an emergency, and then as you fix things, you'll be restoring things.
Michael, was there anything else before I open this up? Are there any other questions? Did you have anything else, Michael, that you wanted to discuss?
No, I just wanted the SPSC to be aware of what's going on from both the dredging, just a minor update, and then the update on the dam. And I'll come to your next meeting with what happened as far as in January to report on the finishing of the emergency repairs and then where we're going from here.
So I just want to add to that is, Michael, everybody got the response from Don's letter to Michael. Michael sent a pretty intense outline of what was going on with the dam. So everybody should read that. And I think that'll also answer a lot of questions, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Michael?
Yeah.
Mike?
That's good.
Can I say, Michael sent an excellent, I asked about it, and he sent an excellent response.
Yeah.
Both thorough with attachments, and all the commissioners have gotten that.
Right. Michael, thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
No problem.
Hold on a second. Gary has a question.
Yeah, Michael, are we going to have to look at we're talking about the spillway now. You know, that's what you're calling the dam.
Mm-hmm.
The adjustable dam, which is down farther, do we have any problems down there that we may?
No. So when I refer to the dam is the entire earthen structure and the physical cement, the cement area, and then the outlet pipe. So that entire area is the dam. The work that is happening right now is the work that's happening on the right wing wall of the concrete structure of where the overflow is.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much. All right. So we're going to continue. Michael, you can stay if you wish. Or...
Can I just, a quick clarifying thing. You keep saying the right side. Now, is that looking at the dam from the lake or looking up at the dam?
So
which way is the right?
The right is so when you're looking from the dam, you're looking from the water out. I was told by an engineer. So whenever we're speaking to DCR or anybody, I've learned that the correct way is looking from the water out. So so it's the right side coming out. If you're facing the dam from the land side, it'd be the left.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little, all right, dyslexic of me.
All right. Moving along. I just want to reiterate that everybody knows that we sent to the select board a request for authorization to conduct a comprehensive of the Lily Brook watershed. And we sent that to them. They received it. And at a meeting that I had with the select board about the voting, you know, they all agreed that they were going to change the bylaws and hopefully it'll pass, which it should, that everybody would get a vote.
That has nothing to do with Lilybrook.
I apologize, what?
That has nothing to do with Lilybrook.
Right.
No, I'm just telling you what
It's a
happened.
different subject, okay.
No, it's part of it.
No.
So at that meeting, they, if I got it right, they would prefer to discuss this with the lake management plan together as one topic at the time. But I'm not sure that was maybe Georgia's take, but it's not an official, but I think, so when we submit the lake management plan, which we're going to discuss now, I think if I heard right, they were talking about doing that at one meeting at the same time. But Jamie, if you have any insight on that, although we're a little ways away from that.
Right. It just has to be submitted. It has to be put on the agenda so that it can be discussed properly. And it's my understanding, and Michael's here, the lake management plan the document is done, and I believe it's been sent in. But we can ask for clarification. So I'm kind of unclear of what this agenda item is.
So what happens is the lake management plan is a document that was never voted on as an official document of the town and the Stockbridge Bowl. So what we're doing, Tom?
I said the select board never voted on it.
Yeah, the select board never voted on it. So we are now updating it, and Sally has been working on this, and she feels that until it's totally updated, that we should wait to submit it once it's edited and updated to be current. And I appreciate that, and I think Sally's gotten to, you'll tell us where you are with this.
Yeah, I'm about 3/4 of the way through. There are some things that I didn't look at because they're, they were formal. And I don't have the document that I had, but it worries me that so much of the information that's in this document is from the early 2000s. And yes, that may have been the case then, but are we presenting the current situation to the select board for them to think about? And it's a massive document with all kinds of stuff. It's also incredibly redundant in a lot of ways. They're the same thing that's gone over and over and over and over again, to the point where your eyes cross. It's thorny. That's all I can say.
I think this is sort of the way I understand this document to be. It's sort of a living document that will change over time.
But it's kind of dead. It's the thing that worries me is that there's so much in here from 2002, 2004, 2009.
Well,
it's
Do we know
2026.
if there's any more up-to-date?
Well, that's the point.
So that's the first thing we got to do.
Yeah. I mean, Tom, you went through a lot of the documents. I would really appreciate it if you could send me just a list
Okay.
of what you found and the date, because there may be documents that are in here that it isn't. I mean, the select board is going to have to wade through all of this, and it's going to be really, really time
Maybe we
consuming.
need to sit down.
So if we could condense it a little bit and say, we updated what we know can be updated, I think it would help them a lot to.
And maybe we need to sit down, a couple of people, just go through it page by page and
Yeah.
figure out what, break it down in sections.
Sally, you don't have to have, you can also, perhaps, David Cameron wrote a commentary on this.
Right, I know.
And it was actually pretty complimentary. It was
Yes.
very complimentary,
I'm
actually.
not saying it's bad. I'm just saying
Well,
that it's
well, it sounds
outdated.
like that's what you're saying. That it's
I'm-
dead. When you use words like it's dead, it
No,
doesn't sound
it's-
uplifting
It's
to me.
so outdated that,
Well, the whole lake, it's a lake.
I get that.
It's not going to change that much.
One way to make this, one way to make this more palatable and address Sally's concern is to do a clearer executive summary up front so that the select board can sort of hang on to the major points and topics, and then behind it is the detail which they can wade into as they see fit. Maybe that'll bring it to a more lively, at least frontal approach. One of the things that we're doing at the same time is talking about the need for a significant study on Lily Pond. And that sort of is a current events thing that isn't included in the plan. I'm not sure how they sit aside one another, given the new approach.
There's a lot of information in here about Lily Pond,
Right?
or not the pond, but
Bro.
well, it's not
yeah.
even the brook, it's the
It's the
because
basic-
you've got Lily Pond and then you've got the brook and then you've got what has been referred to in so many ways as being the fire pond, the holding pond. I can find nobody who knows anything about that. Everybody knows that it exists according to anyone you talk to, but there is no documentation that was ever a fire pond or a holding pond. It was dredged at one point. Georgia doesn't know. I've been trying to reach Clint Schneier because he would be the only one that I know of that might know. Chucky doesn't know. Nobody has. That's what it was designated at. So I met with David Cameron on site the other day, and I'm sorry I didn't get in touch with you, but I was coming back from Long Island and I just was nuts. And one of the things that he said is that this should not be treated separately. He thinks it should be part of the dredging. And if we can find documentation that it was once a holding pond or once a fire pond, I don't know where else to go besides Clint, that would make it a whole lot easier to lump it in with what we're doing, because it would be a restoration of what was there. And it depends on, and I should have my notes, but I don't. It depends on how many cubic yards of silt you're going to remove as to how big a hairy deal it's going to be. If it's, I think it's under, I think he said 10,000, but I could be wrong. 10,000 cubic yards, then it's probably doable. Then it has to go to the Army Corps. It has to go to MIPA. It has to go to, obviously it has to go to Natural Heritage anyway. But it then becomes from a $10,000 project to a $200,000 project.
Yeah, all right, the way I look at it is the first step is to bring it to which we did, the select board, in order to get, for them to look into it and to get the funding for this. We don't have the funding for this.
Right.
So however it was in the past will be, and how to do it will be directed by this study, whether it's David Cameron or whoever does this study.
But his point was he doesn't think that we necessarily need to do a study if we can find documentation of that.
No, I understand that, but I'm given the fact that so far we haven't found.
I'm sorry?
Have we been to the archives? Have anybody dug through the old records from the 70s? That's what we got to do.
Right, well then.
I don't know I don't even know where to look for that.
Well, they got to be somewhere.
I mean, Georgia didn't know. So that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
Chucky didn't know, so it would have been something from the fire department.
Check at the library.
Appreciate that.
Maybe.
I volunteer there.
Okay.
I can.
Maybe there is something there, but so far I hadn't found it. And I think Clint would have been the highway super when this was done, so he may have some
It was
information.
in the 70s.
The selectmen still alive from back then?
No.
John Piacco.
His grandson is, I try, right.
Mary
So,
Flynn.
So if we can find that will help enormously in getting that done.
I'll see. They got to be somewhere. There must be like microfilm or something of the old.
Even as
Select board minutes.
You
pictures.
know that there was even anything?
They had minutes, so they must have keep them somewhere.
one of the things that I had brought up
Or the SBA, maybe.
was you talking about 10,000 cubic yards? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
10,000 cubic yards is a lot of yards.
Yeah.
The older petty.
Hold on one second. 10,000 is, and my thinking is what we want to do is I think what we want to do is to prevent silt from coming in to the other side of the causeway.
Right.
Right. So it may not require anywhere near 10,000 cubic yards.
Which would make it so simple.
Well, that's what
So
we would
simple.
find out.
Simple, yeah.
Exactly. But this is what we would find out in what you may not like the word study, but I think it needs to be done. We may not have the solution. We don't necessarily have to present the solution in order for the select board to look into this, but it's so important for the restoration project in the long term that we look at this.
Right. Well,
It would almost be criminal not to turn that spigot off.
David's point was not to separate it out.
All right, well, that's
So that it would be
something.
part of the whole project
They're dredging.
in all in one.
Well, dredge.
Right, exactly.
Right, I have no issues with any. I just want it to be looked at to see how we can figure out a way to divert the silt from Lilybrook to coming into the causeway.
So if you go down and you stand on the causeway and you look east, you can see almost a horseshoe of water. And then there's some Phragmites or crud in the middle. And if that established as being where the fire pond or the holding pond was, that would be something that I think you could say, look, here's where it was. Because if you have to go beyond that, then it gets to be too big an area.
In the beaver dam back there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
but when they would do this, lore has it, like you say, lore has it, that this was done in the past. We're basing it on, and I'm sure it was done. I
I've
have,
heard it from multiple people.
yeah, I mean.
Unrelated people.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
But what I'm saying is there's no way that they took out anywhere near 10,000 cubic yards is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Every year.
Okay, so that, I mean.
In other words, there's no way logically that if it's a question of, I can't even imagine them taking out 1,000 cubic yards with trucks or whatever it is. That's
Probably
huge
not.
amount.
Probably.
Michael has his hand up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Who has this?
Michael.
Oh, Michael, go ahead, please.
One thing I would say is, and we'll take a look at town hall if we can find anything in the old records, but if it was done in the 70s as a fire pond, finding proof of that is not necessarily going to happen from a study. It might take us trying to find some old records showing that that was what was designated, so that you're.
Well, that was the point that David made. If you can find some archival information that this was used as a fire pond or a holding pond, that would simplify the application to DEP by saying that this is a restoration of something that has been done in the past, and we would like to do it again. Because we feel that it's been to the detriment of the lake to not continue doing this. And it would be just like 100% simpler if we could find some sort of documentation.
Right, because fire ponds are allowed to be maintained. And yes,
Right.
I think he's referring to, there's some EOPS and other, which is the Executive Office of Public Safety, where, right, these type of things are a public safety issue, not just an environmental issue, so it would make it simpler permitting. So I
Yes.
understand that, and we'll see what we can find. But yeah, if somebody can look at the, if we can't find proof of it, then we're just coming from it as a ecological restoration, not a public safety one.
Michael, where do you think the records might be?
Well, the hard part is if we don't have a time period, if we don't have anything, you pretty much might have to search through every selectman's meeting going back, seeing if there was ever a discussion. And the way we're talking right now, if the people you're talking about, was it ever really a fire pond, or did they just draft off of it? Because we identify locations where we draft water from, and we have equipment to draw from streams, lakes, and other stuff. But was it ever officially built as dredged as a fire pond is the question. So a fire pond is part of your fire suppression system. Back in the day, they used to set up ponds in locations just so you had it because you didn't have hydrants. But like I said, we might not even we might be looking for something that doesn't exist. So, and maybe does. So anything we can find to point us in the right direction. But it's not encouraging to hear that the people that Sally mentioned don't have any clue of that. That's a little discouraging. So,
well, I haven't talked to Clint yet, and he's the one that I think would be the last resort, because as superintendent of the highway department, they would have been the ones doing it. And
right.
I remember having Louis Peyron come in and talk about them doing drawings from that side of the lake. This probably was 30 years ago, maybe 25 years ago. And the concerns about whether they were flushing their tanks and zebra mussels and all that kind of stuff. And so I know that they did draw from that area because we looked at it, but I don't know if it was specifically designated a fire pond, or if that was just how they got the water, and that's what they called it.
Right.
Happy, if you point me to the archives, I'm happy to look through them. I did.
How far, Michael, do you know how far, well, none of these things are going to be digitalized, probably. All those meetings.
No, these
Yeah.
are just physical written documents that
Yeah.
we
Right.
can go through all the selectmen's minutes but like I said, they're drafting from a location is completely different than establishing a designated fire pond.
Yeah, all right.
And that it's not the same. We're always able to draft if you had enough depth of water in almost any water source. So yeah.
Well, that's one solution. The other solution is really, well, someone has to look at it. If we do less than a certain amount of sediment removal might fall within, like Sally may fall within, I can't imagine that they did anywhere near what that limit was, because it was physically, it would have been impossible almost.
So we've got to figure this out.
What?
We just got to
Yeah.
figure it out.
Figure it out, exactly.
Okay.
I will do some digging this week.
Thank you.
I can find.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right.
You can send me that list.
Yes, I will send you that
That would
list.
be
Yeah.
great.
Oh, I meant to, on the lake management plan. Sally, if you need someone outside of this that you want to work with, also outside of the group, if there's somebody that you feel,
Well, I mean, having
I know we have Tom here.
And I'm happy
Should we-
went through a lot of,
Yeah, we-
No, I meant in
Go
addition.
through it and
yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
you just got to break it up into sections and go.
Okay, you feel comfortable there?
I'm
All right.
fine with it.
Because I think it's a
just not
document
first
that
pass.
has to be given to the select board.
Right.
And an executive summary is exactly, it should have it anyway.
I like the
Yeah.
idea. I think.
Yeah, Phil, thank you. Moving on, here we get to a issue that I don't know how to handle personally, because it's a tough one for me, but we need to discuss about unexcused missed meetings and how we handle that. And I don't know, I spoke to Michael Canales of how to handle it. He said, bring it up to the board. And I'm bringing it up to the board and I'm asking for, but I think Jamie,
So I spoke to Donna Brewer
Okay.
about this issue.
yeah,
And the bylaw still stands. I'm your select board appointee. I have a conflict with select board, affordable housing trust fund, BRTA, and another committee in Great Barrington, 2 committees in Great Barrington. So the time of the meeting has not always been conducive for me to attend. But also, as chair, you cannot, no chair of a board, a town committee can ask for someone's resignation, ask them to leave, or bully them into leaving. It is unacceptable. You cannot do that. You've asked Michael for me to quit. You've asked me to quit.
I have not,
You've also said that you want a scientific board. It is a volunteer town committee board. And historically, it was flailing. No one was showing up. We resurrected it by asking for people in the community, even people that didn't live in Stockbridge, like who were second homeowners. And we got like Lori and we got others. We also need to look at that there are 6 of the 9 members live on the lake. And many, so it's already, the optics are not good with this committee and you've publicly come out to say that your wife is working on the sewer project and you want Rachel because she has a scientific background. All of that is not, if you want to be a non-biased.
we're not talking about that. We're talking about
What I'm
unexcused.
saying is that as.
You want to get off
chair-
the,
I'm not getting off the subject, but as.
you are getting totally off the subject. So I'm the chair of this committee. So just hold on a second, 1 second. Jamie, I appreciate it. The bylaws just say, I don't want to get into a discussion of whatever legalities. I just open it up to the board, how we feel about this. The bylaws state very clear, and the bylaws were written by the select board. I'm following what the select board is saying. I really don't want to there's no bullying here. All the meetings that I've had were questions of if someone doesn't show up for 5 meetings and hasn't filled out any of the forms that I had asked or whatever, I would imagine that they're not that interested. It's just, to me, that's the way I looked at it. So I'm opening it up to the board to see how they feel. If they feel they don't want to change anything, I'm perfectly fine with it, because I have no right to put my whatever it is there. You're right, but I'm just bringing it up as the chair of, so if anybody wants to comment on it.
Yeah, I'll comment.
Yeah, go ahead. And it is a.
Wait, Don is first.
No, I'm, okay.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, first of all, Jamie clearly has a reason for not coming. And conflicts I don't know, the thing was, not showing up for no reason whatsoever. This was a clear, I feel a clear issue of conflict for her. And additionally, I feel it's very useful to have a member of the select board on this committee. And I don't know, that's about it. I don't.
Maybe, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Since I was out, I was not here for the last meeting. What do the bylaws say in terms of absences?
No more than 4 unexcused
In a year.
absences.
In a year.
Yeah.
Well, these were excused, I feel.
You can feel it, but I never heard from Jamie. Jamie, I never heard from you saying I'm not going to be here. You just didn't show up. So everyone might have a reason not to show up, but if you have a group and you have a committee, it's really good to say, listen, I'm just not going to make it that day. But I feel this shouldn't be I'm just reading the bylaws. The bylaws were written by the select board. And Jamie, the other thing that I'm going to say is the select board picked all of us. You're making it sound like people came in and
Michael, we picked the letters of people of interest. I don't even know.
No, but you were just claiming that, well, it's a bad
We didn't
mix
cherry
because.
pick, Michael. We didn't cherry pick.
Can I make a comment? Can I make a comment, Michael?
Of course.
Okay, so my feeling is having nothing to do with Jamie as Jamie.
Right.
Feeling is that who's ever on this commission should be committed to coming. Jamie, it sounds to me like you are spread all over the place.
There still needs to be a select board.
Maybe it's not you.
Oh, go ahead.
So my concern is we're supposed to have X amount of people on this commission. And we need the voices of all those people to be present. And because you have so many conflicts, that's a concern to me, because we're losing the knowledge of a person. And we have other people who are showing up and they can't vote. So that's my concern. I understand you're trying to do a lot, and that's great. But I feel like we are losing out on that, in that respect. That's my concern.
Yeah, Don, I apologize.
No, you don't have to. The meetings on Thursday are problematic. It seems like Thursday is a pretty busy day. And I never felt that we should actually meet on Thursdays. We can change it to like a Wednesday is a much more, probably a much clearer day for people. And that's my comment. there's a possibility.
Person who can't attend can always watch.
On Zoom.
What does that mean?
You can go on the CTSB and watch
the
the meeting.
minutes.
Right, but you're not at the meeting.
No, so you're not.
So-
You get the knowledge.
You're not, yeah, but you're not
I
participating.
get it, you get the
Yeah.
knowledge.
No, I think it's important for people to be present, and I think it's,
I don't remember in this bylaws, and then I'm going to leave it for the group to decide what they wish to do, that it says that it has to be a select person on it.
That's what Donna read to me today, and Michael's on the Zoom.
Michael, are you there? Michael?
Yes, I am.
Michael, I have the bylaws, Ben, I don't really, we're just a small community here, so this is really difficult for all of us, I'm sure. But I don't think that the Stockbridge Bowl Stewardship Committee, the original one was a member of the select board, a member of the steward, and a member, but it had been changed at the discretion of the select board that it did not have to be from any specific committee. So if it is if somebody from the select board has to be on it, if that's the case, I'm bringing it up that Jamie, maybe you just should choose, or the select board should choose somebody else from the select board if that's the case, because you might just not.
And Chuck, I've asked them, do not have any interest.
Well, then maybe you're going to get, first of all, whatever we decide here, the select board is going to hear anyway. It's not like.
About that, Michael. I still watch the meetings and I read the minutes.
But we're losing we're losing.
Change the day or time. Don't put it when there's affordable, like right now, I'm supposed to be at affordable housing. So why do you do that? Why have you been doing that?
We've been doing what?
You're putting the same.
What am I doing what?
Affordable housing.
we've been in time frame for a long time.
Yes.
So sorry, right. Can we, and we changed it for yoga, so you guys could go to yoga.
But that was
We're adjusting
half
it.
hour. It was still on Thursday.
Yeah.
You didn't
Right,
change
remember
the
we
date.
adjusted the time for it to, you guys could attend yoga, so it didn't mess up.
Who's you guys? Don was the only.
It was Dawn and
New
Sally.
Valley. Yeah, so but we all agreed to that, Jamie. Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
Don.
Michael has his hand up first.
Oh, Michael?
Next.
Yeah, as was pointed out, Tuesdays and Thursdays are the busiest evenings. Mike, I did recommend to you that you bring this to your board because you did tell me you reached out to Jamie via
I
email
did.
to ask her to step aside, which I said really wasn't your decision. That's why you should bring it to the board. And now it's in front of the board. The board, if you're going to recommend to the select board that you need a member removed because of missed things, that's up to you guys. But the reason why I had you bring it this way is because it wasn't being handled properly. You don't ask people to resign as an individual of that board.
Michael, I should read you the email that I sent. I never asked anyone to resign. I asked them to consider it because of a commitment. I never asked anyone. I said it would make it easier rather than bringing it to the board if you can't make it on your own. But I would never ask somebody to resign. I asked Jamie, read the emails I sent you.
And in person, you've asked me.
No, in person, you and I had talked. Okay, end of
You wanted a
conversation.
scientific board.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
Thank you. I apologize.
So can I suggest a way to go forward?
Can I make a couple of observations as the non-voting? I did. As the non-voting, full-time resident guy, nonetheless, I'm listening to this, and it seems to me that there are a couple of things that we probably agree on. One is that it makes sense to have a representative from the select board attend wherever possible. It also, if unexcused absences is the trigger, we can solve for that by saying, okay, somebody has an unexcused absence. when they vaporize, they're not there, they don't call and say, I can't, I have a conflict. And the third thing that we could do to help ameliorate what sounds like an unfortunate loggerheads we're at is just simply to have a discussion with this group now, which its constitution may change over time. But for right now, this group, what's the most convenient date that people feel they can make it the most? See if we find a common time that's a little better, and we will have accommodated as much of that conflict as we can.
I would agree. And I think just, people now know if you're not going to make it, you've got to let the chair know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be here.
Say that again?
No, I said if people can't make it, we just need to, I didn't do that last time. I was away. I thought I did.
That was the one time, yeah.
Well, but it happens.
No, but I think, there's no reason we have to meet on Thursdays at 5 o'clock,
I agree.
right?
I
If
agree.
another day is better.
Yeah, can I suggest, Michael, that we look into Wednesdays? That still gives us 2 days work days to submit.
Wednesday is terrible for me.
Well, for Sally,
How about Mondays?
or consider, how about do a survey of the people when they can meet?
Well,
And Tuesdays
Let's
is
think about
booked up
this.
with planning board and
Conservation.
and I think
What's
there's
that?
another committee.
Tuesdays
Tuesdays is always
bad.
stacked up too.
All right, well, let's look for,
So it's either Monday, Wednesday, or Friday.
Sally saying,
Friday's not good.
Fridays are
Friday's
not.
terrible.
Fridays are terrible.
how about Mondays?
Mondays are really, no,
No, okay.
Camp Hoosabog Stewardship is on Mondays.
How's that? Okay.
Does it have to be in the evening?
Not for me.
either we have the bylaws or we don't have bylaws.
That's a good question. Does it have to be in the evening?
So we
Thursday
change
is-
the bylaws.
Or could we be later in the
This
evening?
time it's the
Or you be
Yeah, could we meet at 7 o'clock? Oh, it's better.
late.
Mhm.
No,
We
some,
can bring lunch.
Well-
We can bring dinner.
I mean, I can do Wednesdays if it's not the second Wednesday of the month,
Yeah, so make a different Wednesday.
but it would have to be after 6 because I work.
Yeah, Wednesdays.
At
and
what
when,
time?
My preference would be to have like a 7 o'clock meeting, because then you could eat dinner before you go to the meeting.
Michael, can I
what time
suggest
do
you
you
survey
finish
the
work?
people?
Is it just once a month?
Work is every Wednesday.
Oh, every
But
Wednesday.
we're-
Yeah, it depends on whether I can throw people out of the store or not.
Oh, okay.
But in the summer, you're going to have 2 meetings a month, or for a
Right.
lot of the year, you're talking 2 meetings.
So the second Wednesday of the month, I have Kennel Club and I'm the chair, so I have to be there.
The first and the third Monday,
I could do
the
that.
first and third Wednesdays.
I could do first and third. And it would
I
have
could
to
do
be after
first and
6.
third.
First and third Wednesdays?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
start the first Wednesday for the one meeting a months, and first and third for the other month.
And
Can
what
I ask,
time?
Wait,
do we
say
have a
that again?
time?
So let's do it so assume the first Wednesday of the month is the standing meeting, and then when we have 2, it'll be the first and the third.
When was the,
So like in this summertime, when
yeah,
What time?
I want
Yeah, times.
one.
Because this is going to be up for Sally because of
Yeah.
her work.
I mean, it's 7.
Would have to be
A lot of the meetings
after
start at
6
7 anyway.
After it's 6:30 is usually fine. Because I'm just
7 o'clock.
down on Main.
7 o'clock,
7,
7,
That's what time all the other meetings are.
whatever.
7, what?
Concom meets at 7.
Yes.
So we've said first and third Wednesdays on 7
Starting
PM.
in January or February?
No,
Well-
don't we start later in the spring?
Well, the first one would be, yeah, but when would we start moving the meetings?
First Wednesday would be the 7th.
Okay.
Of January, yeah.
First Wednesday was the 7th.
Yes.
Wait, hold on.
Michael, if there's rough agreement on this, can you send around
Yeah,
the dates
let's-
so we all can lock it into our calendars?
sure.
Great.
Sure.
Just to clarify for the minutes, so we're talking about the first and third Wednesdays at 7 PM, with the first meeting be the 7th of January.
Right.
Did I get that right?
And
Yes.
when would we start the second meeting of the month? What
I
month?
thought the bylaw said like April, I thought it was April or May.
April?
Or
May?
May. But it
I
says
thought it
one
was
of those.
April. Because that's when the water testing starts, like that,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I think we should, I've always felt we should start a bit earlier, like in March, but
I thought it was March, but maybe I'm wrong.
I'd have to go back and check.
If somebody could check, so when you send it out, we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we've said
I
that.
think we should give this a try and see if we do better with the issues that were being discussed.
If it doesn't work out, we can always change it.
Mhm.
All right, let's move on then. What?
Do we have agreement then?
Well, I'm going to send around, I'm not sure you have the notes of what I should send around. I was like looking at that we're going to change it to the Wednesday, the
First and third Wednesday
Wednesdays of every.
of every, first and
Are
third.
we setting a precedent that if someone doesn't come in, then we work around that? I'm just saying, there are bylaws that we rule, that we go by, but okay.
I mean, Michael, it makes sense to accommodate people who have conflict.
I agree.
Right. And
I
this
agree.
is an
All it
easy
took-
thing to fix.
And especially the chairman of our select.
Yeah. And this is an easy thing to fix.
Screw that.
Okay.
That's crazy in terms of my bringing this up and saying that it's done wrong is really crazy.
I don't think anyone said you're wrong.
Can
I've
we,
heard it, yeah.
are we, so when do we start doing it 2 times a month?
I think it's April. I'd have to look at the old records. It was like April to September or something.
All right, so let's go on then. I just wanted to go over, there was I was in touch with Ben Burpee for GZA because after the cyanobacteria that we had 6 years ago or something.
The 9th,
Say that again?
2909.
09. Wow, 09?
No,
No.
sorry, 2018. Hold on,
Yeah, anyway, so we started doing water testing on it, on the lake. And the water testing sort of grew, and we've gotten water testing reports. Some we have, some we don't. But what I wanted to get an idea was, were they all still necessary? We have a budget that was assigned to us by the town of about $44,000. And I was speaking to,
18.
yeah, I was, when I spoke to Ben Burpee, I said, Ben, is there some way that we might not need all these tests to save some money for the town? And perhaps it would reflect on our budget that we'd like to put into place. And Michael Canales says one has nothing to do with the other, which I'm sure he's right. But I thought even if we save money for the town, that not every test has to be done. That would be a wonderful thing on its own. And Michael, and I sent everybody the response that Ben Burpee sent. Right away, he was in agreement. He said, we might not really need to do all these tests anymore. There's a baseline for it. And that he gave an outline of what he felt could be eliminated. Michael, did you get that?
I thought it was really good.
Michael,
I thought it made a lot of sense.
did you get
Yes.
that? Yeah, okay, Gary.
Yes.
Michael, is there anything we're missing in thinking that that was an intelligent response to the original question?
I thought it was it made a lot of sense. to me.
When you read these reports of these testing, I mean, very little has changed.
Right.
Over the last
Yeah, that's
5 or 6
clear.
years. It's all the same every year.
You'll drive yourself crazy, sadly.
Right. So anyway, so he said he would, I think, I don't have his response in front of me because I went out. I'm happy to provide you with a draft proposal that reflects these changes and go over that document on your January 8th meeting, which I don't know if we're going to have a January 8th or a January 7th at this point. But he said he would join us in a meeting. And so I will send him, and once we know exactly that he should come. And Michael, what are your suggestions on this in terms of going forward?
Well, I think that, you guys can definitely put a measure before the select board as an advisory board that the testing is changed for the upcoming fiscal year. So that is definitely something that can happen. The all things equal was the fact that just because the budget's cut in one department doesn't necessarily mean that they get the same budget if there's other things. So
Right. No, yeah, you said that to me.
Yeah.
All right.
That's how I would do it. I'd have your meeting with them. I'd see what you're thinking. And if you guys believe that the priority that we no longer need all that testing in our agreement, then recommend it to the select board, and then the select board can decide if it wants to limit the testing.
Okay. Thank you. What else here do we have?
Can I just quickly comment? I had my hand up. For some reason, I can't get
Lois, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I can't get my video on. I keep getting a message that the video won't work. Somebody's preventing it.
We are.
I think we are.
Yeah. So I met with Ben Burpee and Charlie Kenny in the context of the proposal of understanding the risk to the lake related to cyanobacterial blooms. We met with DEP about 2 to 3 weeks ago. So there's a protocol being developed which in theory is supposed to make assessments of the lake that will include different kinds of measurements to try to understand the risk and the risk stratification for cyanobacterial blooms. So I think it's very timely to consider shifting the measurements from what is done, which has been stable, to a better understanding of the status of the lake from the standpoint of the risk of cyanobacterial blooms. And I think at some point, Charlie will reach out and propose that. So we've been working with, or just at least started working with DEP to come up with a protocol, which has been discussed for the last year. So I want you to understand that there is work being done related to testing, which will end up being part of the Stewardship Commission's review and potential approval and modification of the testing protocol, which I think Ben Burpee has said, stuff that's stable, we don't have to continue to measure. And so those funds can be returned to the town and then maybe modified based on the cost that will be associated with a different kind of testing for cyanobacterial risk.
Oops.
I'm sorry. Phil, of course.
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to live by the rules. Doesn't that change the sequencing? Because wouldn't we want to see the protocol first before we had him draft a letter that changes the scope and extent of the contract?
You might as well save the money. I don't know when that other testing will be prepared for review and implementation. It always seems to me if you can save money by reducing the expense of the testing because it's not adding any information, you might as well do that.
The protocol's not imminent.
No.
Okay.
No, it's an iterative process. The DEP reviewed it and they commented. We made some modifications. They made some suggestions. it's a longer story, so I don't want to get into it now because there are other things that you want to cover. But probably at one of the meetings in January, February, Charlie can present some of the concepts that have been proposed in terms of testing and risk stratification for the lake for cyanobacteria, with the idea of not necessarily waiting for a bloom, but being prepared to understand what the risks are and what would happen if a bloom does occur. Because it may not occur for 5 years. So then we just sit around with and wait. It's not something that I think we would like to do.
Louis, you know, my understand, I wanted Charlie to come to this meeting. I'm not sure he will or won't. I gave him the option, but I'm going to send it around that this is an important meeting that I want Pat Kennelly to join us from the SBA and just people who have ideas. But cyanobacteria is almost bigger than anything we can do about it. I'm not sure, even with the testing, how that works. Is it something like it'll give you a warning that it's coming? Because it was really weather related, the last one that came about, from what I understand from Ben Burpee.
Yes.
So conditions it doesn't matter maybe with the testing, but the conditions can happen 1 year that have nothing to do with the testing that caused this issue to happen. I don't know. I'm talking from totally a layman's point of view of what I heard.
I think there's an educational process of understanding what needs to be done. So just very briefly, there is a column of cyanobacteria at 10 meters in the lake. We don't even know if it makes a toxin. So we don't know very much about the status within the lake. And the DEP doesn't just sort of, they don't have a protocol for what to do if something happens. So they're very interested in understanding the status of the lake. And again, there's a lot of detail here that requires some education. The protocol is in process, so it doesn't really make sense to present something that hasn't been finalized, because you need to know the costs of testing, a variety of things that you can understand about the lake that may affect the distribution of a bloom when and if it does occur. So
nothing you can do about it. Well, that's not true either.
Louis, did you read the thing from Ben Burpee that Michael sent around? Did that seem to align pretty much with what you all were talking about?
Yeah. In fact, I mentioned that when we met this morning briefly, and and Ben was, sort of agreed that the whole approach to that some parts of the approach to the management of the lake and understanding the lake just needs to be modified. That you get into a pattern of doing things, and that there may be other things that we can do that really are more important in understanding what's happening to the lake, and that some of these funds are not necessary. I mean, some of these tests are just not necessary because things don't change.
Right. Louis, can I ask you, in relation to the cyanobacteria blooms, every hydrology report from GZA, the last paragraph says, and there are things that can be done to reduce the risk of cyanobacteria blooms, but they never explain what they are.
Yeah, exactly.
So have you had any conversations with them about that?
No.
I think that needs to be part of this.
So I think that's and it's surprising. Yeah. So I think
that I did write them down and we sent them to I never heard back.
Well, you'll have a chance. You'll come to the meeting.
Yeah, I think this deserves a separately focused meeting on where we can ask those questions, because DEP is interested. There aren't standard protocols around the state for what to do. And so they're very interested in how we approach the issue in the lake. But again, at least it's going to be an hour discussion. So we can put that somewhere on the agenda for scheduling. All
right. The other thing that we have to look at, and I hope I can or hope not I, but I hope we, the town, can come to is the chestnut, what's
What are
Water
chestnuts?
chestnuts.
thank you. You know, you get to my age, I need all the help I can.
Let me tell you.
The water chestnut issue, and we have to find, unless the SBA has already found someone that I don't know or a group, but I will try to get in touch with Pat and see between us to do anything. Michael, has anything progressed on that of trying to find somebody, or has that sort of been not looked at yet?
Actually, I spoke to Pat Kennelly today about that, and
Okay.
And no one's been found yet. And we do know that, we'll continue, and it's official. Lori Rocks from Aquatic Root sent out a thing. We have the heads up about it, but it is official that it is closing shop.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
and she's still trying to find somebody to take it on, to recommend, but whether or not there's anybody locally that's gonna, not even locally, anywhere even close to, is questionable. But
Right.
as soon as I find out more, I'll let you know.
Please. All right. So that being said,
Bill has a question.
Bill, go ahead.
Yeah, this is sort of a heads up. When I was reading the Elm Court presentation, I noticed, and I just didn't know this, maybe you all knew it, that there's about 500 feet of Elm Court, which is abutting the Lily Pond shoreline. And
Yes.
And so I
Yeah.
guess this is something that's going to come before Conservation Commission at some point. And Jamie, you probably know this already, but it's something we ought to keep our eye on as it affects what we're saying about Lily Pond.
Well, the Elm Court is not only in the Lake and Pond Overlay District, which would be on the bank of Lily Pond, which limits what they can do, but they're also in Scenic Mountains, so they have quite a few restrictions in terms of they can't clear cut down to the lake.
Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking of stormwater and sediment runoff because it's at the low point of that development. Where Lily Pond meets Elm Court.
For the last couple of filings that they've done, they haven't proposed any work anywhere close to the lake. So they're going to have to come to conservation, and believe me, we're going to be extremely vigilant.
Yeah, they said all the right things. They said that the shoreline's going to be entirely conserved and they're going to preserve the shoreline, et cetera, et cetera. But I guess the devil's in the details, and I assume that the select board has experts to help them along.
Conservation will be all over it.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think we had an interesting meeting, say the least. Don, you have something?
Yeah, I think we have to clarify our meeting date, and I want to make a motion that we change our meetings to the first and third Wednesday of every month, starting at 7 p.m. with the first meeting being on the 7th of January.
But it's not every month.
It's not.
That's not twice a month, every month.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I
Second. There's a motion. I need a second.
Yeah.
Second.
Before I can vote, I just want to see what it means to me personally, in terms of what I can, well, if it works for me or not. If the majority votes for it, then.
Well, there's a motion and a second.
Okay.
Call the vote.
Okay, but I think we need to clarify the motion.
Okay, I move that that our meetings be on Wednesdays. That I was wrong saying it's the first and third of the Wednesday of every.
It's always on the first.
Always on the first.
Always on the first, and
Second one is from.
second one starting in April.
April or March. I thought it was April to September.
April to
I
September.
thought that's what.
Okay, starting in April. So it's always the first. I make a motion that we hold our meetings on Wednesdays. that it always be on the first, except starting in April when we have 2 meetings a month, that it be on the first and third, and that it start at 7:00.
Okay, yay, second.
Second, and then we need a vote. All in favor?
Hi, Sally.
Hi, Don.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Tom. Hi, Gary.
Hi, Lori.
Hi,
Okay.
Louis.
Well, Louis.
And Louis can't vote.
From Casablanca.
I can't vote.
Yeah,
I can't vote.
Louis
I
and
can't
I
vote.
are-
I thought we could all vote now.
No.
Okay.
No,
Wait
not
for
yet.
town meeting.
Not
You gotta
yet.
be
All right.
patient.
Hopefully soon.
All right, so I guess that passed as a majority.
Thank you very much.
I do.
And
That's
do
okay.
we want to, do we want to revisit, and it doesn't have to be the next meeting,
Yeah, Dan. Sure.
having a vice chair because of if there isn't a need for, because remember Don had wanted to be vice chair because of the need in case of an absence or sickness or snowstorm, whatever. Do we want to revisit that sometime in the upcoming future
I am
on an agenda?
very much in favor of having a vice chair.
So we have to do it on an agenda so we can discuss it and blah,
Yeah,
blah,
we could
blah.
discuss that at the next meeting. If that's okay. Everybody? Sure.
Yeah, in fact, Don is going to be opening the meeting.
Opening next
The
meeting.
next meeting, I mean, it was really if I'm not going to be in town,
Out of town.
I'll be out of town, but I'll be on the Zoom
Okay.
for the next meeting. But Don, I had asked Don and he said he would do that he would open, and basically the intention was on Dan.
And he
Don.
seems to be filling the role.
Yeah,
You'll still be attending on Zoom.
absolutely.
Okay.
You can chair the meeting from Zoom. But-
Yeah, no,
but you
I just can't
push
open
the
it.
button.
Yeah, yeah. No, I will be.
It's purely ceremonial.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right, so I'm gonna, whatever the
Does Don know how to
wordage
push
is.
the buttons anyway?
No, but I know there's people who
I
can
can.
Figure it out.
teach me.
So I'm gonna call this meeting to an end. Do I have
So moved.
so moved?
Second.
Listen, Michael,
Hi,
thank
Don.
you for attending.